In Capital News tonight, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa directs public sector officials to be patient. And Governor Obado continues to be detained in Korokoroni. And in sports tonight, good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Now, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has told officials in the public sector who have not been promoted to be patient as the process to promote them that was halted will resume. Prime Minister Majaliwa said this in Parliament when answering questions and directed all councils in the country to prepare a budget before they promote their employees. During this session, the government has submitted to court a bill on small-scale financial services 2018, where Minister of Finance and Planning Dr. Philip Mpango said the bill is targeting, among many things, preventing the business of small financial services. Earlier in Parliament, 4 appointed members of Parliament were sworn in, and another MP from CUF, Abdallah Mtolea, resigned on claims that his life is in danger.
According to their education, background and profession, so we can now begin to pay salaries that is reflective of their positions. The lack of policy to govern this sub-financial sector has caused a lot of challenges.
Nimelazimika kuandika barua ya kujiuzuru ubunge wangu.
I have been forced to write the resignation letter resigning from my parliamentary seat. I was forced to do so given the political state.
The government of Tanzania has signed an agreement with the African Development Bank in order to get a total of 486.516 billion shillings, 440.703 billion shillings. Out of this sum of money is a loan which is to be spent on the Msongo Mkubwa electricity project that extends from Nyakanazi to Kigoma. This Msongo Mkubwa power project will enable regions of that zone to gain access to dependable electricity supply, and it will also help in the implementation of the budget. In addition, the government has received financial assistance worth 45 billion shillings from the AFDB, and the funds are meant to help tackle the threat of fungus which has been affecting the maize and groundnuts crops in particular.
Dear participants, implementation of the Northwest Grid Goma Transmission Line project is part of the government broad agenda to bridge the socio-economic infrastructure gap so as to accelerate socio-economic development and poverty reduction. The Nyakanazi Kigoma of 280 km power line will form part of the proposed 1,080 km northwest grid stretching from Nyakanazi via Kigoma, Mpanda, Sumbawanga, and Tunduma.
Recently signed a loan agreement with the government of Tanzania, which also the PS has acknowledged earlier this month in support of the first phase of the Good Governance and Private Sector Development Program. After the signatures this morning, the total support from the African Development Bank Group in 2018 will amount to approximately $213.3 million US. However, please note that the year has not yet ended, and that figure is likely to change perhaps substantially.
Over 100 farmers involved with farming for food and business harvest in Bamba, Mavengero Village, Mhindiro Ward, Mkinga District, Tanga region have asked the government to intervene after a foreign investor destroyed their crops with a grader, claiming that the land was his.
Kinachoshangaza, ardhi hii
This land was left undeveloped for a long time. Children from here have been educated so they can come back and develop this land so that they can benefit economically because there are no jobs to be had. How can this be possible when all land has been given to investors? The minister has issued an order for us to be given 600 hectares, but we have not been provided any answers regarding this matter. I have the letter here with me, but the investor wants now to take even the little land we have and has vowed never to give up any land. Usually the investor rotates, meaning that he only farms one area at a time. The instructions we have given him is that land must be fully farmed.
Now, Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, TADB, along with the head of operation, Cashewnut Colonel Benjamin Kisinda, have begun refining farmers' cashewnut stored in various warehouses in Tunduru District, Ruvuma region, as part of preparations to start paying farmers their money, as well as to take the cashewnut to directed warehouses, which will be done by JWTZ.
So we arrived here today. As you can see, the consignment has been received, so the next step will be to do data verification before payment can be made.
After
the Agricultural Development Bank has finished paying farmers, then we will transfer the cashnuts. We have arrived here to carry out an inspection of the warehouses. Tunduru's cashewnut is superior and very delicious.
One day after Arusha City Council gave 7 days for street vendors to leave the areas, thousands gathered to oppose the directive, demanding that another area be found for them before they remove, as not all of them still have stalls, and the government had permitted them to continue with their activities in the areas.
They should give us an area that is good for business. But if the government chooses to remove all of us, then we shall suffer more. We are not refugees in our own country. We must support each other. By Saturday, if they have not removed their stalls, we shall do it ourselves. They have been notified to remove stalls that have been put up without authorization. If they fail to do so, we shall report them to the relevant authorities.
Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan has said that the government will implement the request to liberate girls in the livestock keeping community of Simanjiro District, Manyara region, so as to avoid child pregnancies by building dormitories, but it will not be ready to provide food. Instead, she has urged elders of the Maasai community known as the Laigwanan to convince the community to contribute for it. Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan made the statement in Orkesume town at the headquarters of Simanjiro district in front of thousands of pastoralist community members following a request by a Special Seats MP Esther Mahawe.
My dear fellows, God has given you your private paths for a reason. If you want to cut off a part of it, does it mean then that you want to correct God, which has repercussions? Young women giving birth end up bleeding so much and some die. You carry on with such practices because you want to correct God? You are created that way for a specific reason.
Vifo vya wazazi ni vingi. Ombi langu kubwa Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais kwa hadhara hii.
My request to you, Honorable Vice President, and the gathering before me, I know that you mostly do livestock keeping, but you must not leave mining to be practiced by investors only.
Now, investigations into the case of economic sabotage and causing the government a loss of 1.6 billion shillings that the former director of the National Identification Authority, NIDA, Dickson Maimu, and others are facing at Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court that was brought before the court on August 18, 2017 are still not complete. The attorney for the Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, Leonard Swai, while before resident Judge Wilbert Mashauri claimed that the case was up for mention, but investigations into the case are still incomplete, and the court was adjourned to December 13th of this year for another mention. In another case at the court, a former president of Tanzania Football Federation, TFF, Jamal Malinzi, and 4 others is still ongoing, with witnesses for the prosecution taking the stand on November 21st and 22nd of this month. Now, moving on, the fishermen in villages surrounding Nyumba Dam in Mwanga District, Kilimanjaro region have completed about fisheries officers of the district for giving them fishing licenses, which is against procedures, and for charging them taxes for their canoes.
By December, this license will have expired and we shall be forced to apply for a new one. What we are questioning here is why there is no proper system in place that takes care of license issuance. The law states that the license lasts for 1 year, but this does not apply. If you pay 2,000 for a bucket, then its value is for 22. But when you get to the market, you are only able to sell for 25. We are suffering so much, and they should reduce the amount we are supposed to pay to at least 1,000 or 500 for a 20-liter bucket. Women are suffering, and some are forced to take care of the children.
The Minister of Lands, Housing and Human Settlement Development, William Lukuvi, has discovered a foul game that some land officers in Moshi Municipal Council, Kilimanjaro region, are playing after failing to give out over 5,000 liter title deeds to residents whose land has already been demarcated, causing the government loss for over 18 years. Due to this problem, Minister Lukuvi has directed land officers to follow residents to areas of conflict instead of just sitting in their offices waiting for complaints to be brought to them in order to reduce the disputes that are endangering peace in the community.
Anyone living in Moshi in a surveyed area will be handed over to the council chair. Come February, anyone who owns land and has not paid tax, legal measures will be taken against them. Tick 2. Anyone living in Moshi in a surveyed area will be handed to the council chair. By February, anyone who owns land and has not paid tax, legal measures will be taken against such people. The law permits us to sell your land to recover unpaid taxes. I have been mistreated for over 38 years. They've taken land and have left us with no land, only 2.5 hectares, which was a graveyard. We have witnessed someone coming in and starting construction work. But up to now, no land has been allocated, as it is not right for Tanzanians to live in our country like refugees.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next after the break. And in international news tonight, now followers of Migori County Governor in Kenya, Okoth Obado, have held protests outside of Kibera Court in Nairobi and also in Migori while the governor was being taken to court in relation to the 8 guns found in his residences on Tuesday.
recordings. Also, to receive any information about any criminal acts involving guns. I'm ordering the accused to be returned back in custody until tomorrow, 16th of November, which I will give a statement whether the accused will still be in custody or not.
Candidates of parliamentary seats in Nzizo area, East Congo, especially in Kivu North, have complained on their safety during campaigns which are expected to begin on the 21st of this month.
It will be hard to run our campaigns here in Benin district, since we face with a lot of challenges, especially being attacked. You find all those who would have voted for you have fled from their cities and are on a run. Now we fell on how to get them, since it's quite far to where they've fled, to the voting posts.
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni has ordered the army to protect Chinese companies following a spate of thefts. Addressing a group of 120 Chinese investors on Wednesday, Mr. Museveni announced increased patrols and CCTV installation in industrial parks. China has significant investments in Uganda, but business have lost some of money in robbery. And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. Geological and mineral research experts in Tanzania, GST, along with the researchers from China, have conducted a research on the country's minerals map, whereby the map will reduce a cost of research on where minerals are located before starting the mining exercise and operating through guesswork, as is currently going on in some parts of the country. This nationwide research began in 2013 and was completed in 2018, costing over $4.5 million.
I believe not so long to come, with this cooperation between Geological Survey of Tanzania and Geological Survey of China, I believe Tanzanians will finally stop using local gas in mining and move to assured mining. So my call to GST, since now you have the mineral map of Tanzania, then you have to prepare mineral maps for each region, since every regional commissioner needs to have this for their own regions. First, they'll be used in these normal researches. For all researchers, they will use this information, but also it will be used by those doing mineral exploration. Also, it will be used in water analysis.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Joseph Kakunda, has directed the advisory board of the Business Registrations and Licenses Agency, BRELA, to provide good advice to the government on a productive performance so as to fulfill the government's resolution to improve the business environment and have a middle-income industrial economy by 2025. He said this when launching the advisory board in Dar es Salaam.
I'm asking the board to overlook that the work of BRELA is well done, so as to help Tanzanians. And as we know, Tanzanians are peaceful people who follow the law. BRELA is a government institution which deals with company registrations. We expect work to be done properly so as to increase the country's income. We have set ourselves ready in order to ensure Tanzanians and citizens in general that they get these services, which are now also available online.
Providers of mobile banking services have been required to provide sufficient education to female entrepreneurs as well as housewives to be able to save through electronic systems, as many of them have been using systems that are unsafe.
We have been working on research on mobile savings to empower women micro-entrepreneurs, and we have done the research in Tanzania and in Indonesia. And what we see is that the combination of mobile savings that helps empower women through providing privacy and economic self-reliance, plus business management training, really increases the amounts of savings these women are doing for their businesses, increases their business practices, improves their business practices, and empowers them. So we're hoping that over the long term this will have
a mobile company, Tigo, through its various services including Tigo Pesa, have launched a promotion known as Wagiftishe that will last for 45 days, whereby the customers will win various prizes including up to 50 million shillings that is aimed at gifting prizes to its customers towards the end of the year.
So we're inviting all our customers, wherever you are, all you're supposed to do is continue using Tigo services. And as we know in all promotions, the more you continue participating, the more you increase your chances of winning. So continue buying from Tigo Pesa and continue choosing the packages you love.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Sean Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang. Boogie say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And in sports news tonight, Congo and Kenya handball teams have continued to dominate the East African Championships proceeding in Zanzibar, with Tanzania failing to perform well from the beginning.
The language used in higher stages is English, while we are forced to run the courses in Swahili. It is good that they get the message, but this does not help them enough.
The Stand United management has requested the Football Federation to take through action on its 2 players that left the camp with the league proceeding, as they have contributed to the team's poor performance in the last matches.
We have 2 players. One of them is Talek Saif. He hasn't returned since June when the league stopped. Every time he's called, he says he will come back. This was not good. So we sat with the coach and agreed that we need to increase strength in the attack, especially strikers.
LeBron James has become the 5th highest point scorer in NBA history, passing Will Chamberlain as the Los Angeles Lakers bet the Portland Trail Blazers 126-117. Here are more details.
The 33-year-old bet Chamberlain's record of 31,419 points with a free throw late in the fourth quarter. James, who now has 31,425 career points, scored a season-high 44 points. It was the highest score by a Lakers player since Kobe Bryant's 60 in his final game in April 2016. Lakers and Philadelphia 76ers legend Chamberlain, a 4-time most valuable player, won 2 NBA championships in 1967 and 1972 in his 14-year career.
And Chelsea allegedly faced the threat of a 2-year transfer ban following a FIFA investigation into the signing of a foreign under-18 players, including former striker Bertrand Traoré. Here's the story.
Based on documents from football leagues, French website Mediapart claims 19 Chelsea signings have been looked at in a 3-year-long investigation. Mediapart alleges that 14 of those signings were under the age of 18. In a statement, Chelsea said it had fully cooperated with FIFA. The club also said it had provided comprehensive evidence demonstrating its compliance with the applicable FIFA regulations.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Capitaltvtz. Thank you for watching and good night.
This week on Fitness and Beauty, it's all about what is famously known as insanity. I'm sure you've heard of this and you are aware of how insanity class can get intense.
Let's go, give me 4, and 3 more, and 2 more, 1 more time. Now bring it back, walk your arms there, 4, 3, jumping down.
Well, this week we'll be with our trainer Ben, who will be showing us how extreme this workout can get.
That's 2, keep on. Just keep on. Make sure you're breathing. You can do it, guys. If you are home, you can do it. Believe yourself.
And in our beauty basket, we are of course with the beautiful Queen of Abaya, Miss Farida herself. She'll be giving us a class on how to tie head turbans for different kind of occasions.
You tuck in, you do like this, you are done.
All this on Sunday from 7 p.m. only on Capital TV, your channel of choice.
Kitabu cha Dr. Reginald Abraham Mengi kitwacho I Can, I Must, I Will sasa kinapatikana kwenye maduka ya kuuza vitabu yafuatayo: Dar es Salaam, A Novel Idea, Slipway Msasani, Yacht Club Road, Msasani Peninsula, The Book Cave, Mbezi Rainbow, Social Club, Ara Museum Offices, Ikunda Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Mhunda, House of Wisdom, Mezzanine nambari 22, NHC House, Samora Avenue, Dar es Salaam, MacBooks and Grains, Mlimani City Mall, duka nambari 44, Dar es Salaam. TPH Books, barabara ya Samora, Elite Bookstore, Mbezi njia panda Goba, Mlimani Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Sikukuu na Lindi. Timiza malengo, Ubungo Kona, Chuo Kikuu. Bookmart Online Shop, Instagram, Bookmart TZ, Twitter, Bookmart1. Jamani Investment Limited, Nyerere Road, Airport Terminal 2. Shinyanga, Kahama Bookshop Center, mtaa wa Lumerezi. Arusha, Kase Bookstore, mtaa wa Sekei. A Novel Idea, TFA Center, Arusha, Tanzania. Dodoma, Lugarawa Bookshop, Dodoma mjini, barabara ya 8. Moshi, Ape Bookshop, Moshi mjini. Christian Bookshop, Moshi mjini.
Wahi nakala yako sasa kwenye duka lolote lililopo karibu nawe.
Welcome to Capture. As you know, every weekend we meet here and discuss about stories that trended throughout the whole entire week. And as usual, I'm not alone in the studio. I'll be myself, Khadija Zimbwe, accompanied with my co-hosts Nema Lois and Nancy Masenko. You can find all these beautiful ladies in all of our local shows. She's doing fitness and beauty and
turning the spotlight.
Now, starting on what trended this week, of course, to us as IPP Media, we lost our the co-founder of IPP Company Limited, where Mama Mercy Anna Mengi was actually laid to rest this weekend in Kilimanjaro region. Something good I took away with me when at the Requiem Mass, where the Bishop Frederick Shaw said Mama Mengi will be remembered by the nation due to her cheerfulness and respect for others, just like a woman called Deborah in the Old Testament. This was revealed from the huge turnout of people that went for her funeral. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think the turnout was quite big. A lot of people went to, it was more celebrating her life. Everyone was talking good things about her.